WWE racist. This is something that I can see myself talking about way more times. I did that first video about Bianca Belair and Becky Lynch, and I appreciated the feedback and the comments and debating that I got towards that. But there's so many other examples that WWE has done in the past, whether it's their booking or just their treatment of African American superstars, wrestlers, that I had to do another topic. Let's talk about this and let's decide on whether or not WWE is racist. So remember when Kofi Kingston was WWE champion? It feels like it was longer ago than it really was, and it's almost hard to believe that WWE even did it in the first place. You could tell by how this got started that it was not a part of the plan, the original plan. It wasn't like Vince McMahon woke up and said, "Hey, we need to put that title on Kofi Kingston, pal. Book it." No, Vince couldn't give two shits about Kofi Kingston becoming WWE champion. Daniel Bryan was your heel vegan champion at the time, and the original plan was for Bryan to go into WrestleMania and I believe wrestle Kevin Owens. I think, because Kevin Owens was coming back from an injury or something along those lines, and he was supposed to come back and I think win the title. I think, if I remember correctly. But they slotted Mustafa Ali in the spot to fight Daniel Bryan in the 2 months before WrestleMania. It was supposed to be just a short little program, especially because Daniel Bryan wanted to work with Mustafa Ali. Daniel Bryan's always been a guy that wants to work with younger talent, put younger guys over. But Mustafa got injured, and so, well, we still have those 2 months of free space that we need Bryan to do something. We need the WWE title to be involved in some sort of feud. Let's insert Kofi Kingston in there. He's not doing anything else. He's in the New Day, but let's be honest, the New Day at the time was a 3-man group with Big E and Xavier Woods. So whatever tag team situation they had going on, you could put the other two guys in there. And you put Kofi in because he's a good hand, he's a fan favorite, he always puts on good performances, good matches, and so there you go. And what happened? Kofi got over. That first night on SmackDown where Kofi was in that gauntlet match, the crowd was so into Kofi. It's almost like Vince heard that and said, "Shit, really? The crowd cares this much? Okay." That brings you towards Elimination Chamber. And Kofi Kingston was now slotted in a position where he would go the distance, he would eliminate as many people as he could, he would go to the final two, him and Bryan, but he would come up short, and that was supposed to be the end of it. Once again, the crowd was so into Kofi by the end, it almost even felt like they should have called an audible and had Kofi win the belt right then and there, but they didn't. And then you go from that to, I believe Kofi had a handicap match at Fastlane against Sheamus and Cesaro and just gets dominated there. But the crowd was still into him. And so that left you no other choice but to have, you got rid of the Kevin Owens stuff and you put Kofi Kingston in that spot at WrestleMania. Kofi wins the title. A feel-good moment, especially because Kofi was one of the first, if not the first, Black WWE champion. I'm not talking about the World Heavyweight or Universal, whatever other belt that you want to talk about. No, the WWE title. The lineage that goes all the way back to Hulk Hogan, Bruno Sammartino, and whoever else you can name. That belt, first time that Kofi Kingston, a Black champion, was crowned. And it wasn't even like Kofi, they did it, but then they took the belt right off of him, which is what they've done in the past to other people like Christian or whoever you want to think of, that they had the belt and then the next night or a couple nights later, taken away. No, Kofi had this belt for months, which felt like maybe they were trying something here. They had him go up against, yeah, sure, it was Dolph Ziggler and anyone else that you could think of as far as a feud that didn't really go over well and didn't help Kofi's reign feel any special, but he did end up having a feud with Randy Orton, and this was very big and special because of their past from 10 or so years beforehand, with Randy killing Kofi's push, and they worked that into the storyline, and they had Kofi beat Randy Orton, almost solidify himself as a main eventer, solidify himself as a guy who can beat the top of the top. Randy Orton is considered a main event level top guy, especially not just in the fans' eyes, but in the backstage people, Vince's eyes. Randy Orton's the guy. And they let Kofi beat him. And right after that, I'm talking about a couple weeks after that, Brock Lesnar shows up, and we get the match between Brock and Kofi. Now, these two had a match once before. I think it was in Japan. It was a house show that they turned into a special for the network, and Brock dominated the match, sure. In fact, he even beat up the other members of New Day as well. But at least it went a few minutes, and at least Kofi did some moves on Brock Lesnar. But this time around, because it was Fox, first SmackDown show on Fox, they felt like they had to do something crazy and unsuspecting, surprising, and they had Brock beat Kofi in 8 seconds. I know that maybe you could argue that Vince or certain other people that book these type of situations, if they don't see race, and all it really is that they're looking at Kofi because of his size and because of his comedy act with the New Day, because he didn't take himself all that seriously in his comedic segments, that he just wasn't going to be able to be believably on that level with Brock Lesnar. Why would you put Kofi and even Randy Orton, other people in the position where Kofi is looking as strong as he was, just to get squashed by the bigger, I guess more famous, more of a star, and let's be honest, white champion? If this was Mark Henry or Bobby Lashley or any other bigger opponent, okay, fine, you can't argue the race factor, can you? But it's the optics. It's the same thing that I talked about with Bianca and Becky, that if they don't realize how this can come across, how racist this does appear to your black audience who sits back and thinks, damn, I guess it was a charity run the last few months, because what it really comes down to is that they care more about Brock Lesnar versus that other UFC fighter who came out after the match to set up a match with Brock at the Saudi Arabia show. First of all, who cared about that? Why couldn't you have given Kofi more of a match here and then given Kofi a rematch where, hell, fine, he'll lose again at the Saudi show? But don't make him look like a jabron. Don't make him look like a chump. Don't make it seem like it was a fluke or something that you never really wanted to happen, although that's probably the case. And disrespect it like that. It still makes me angry and frustrated looking back on that situation there. It sucks. It'd be different if it was an IC title, a US title, because at least you can make sense of the fact that it's a mid-card. It's not something, but this is your main title. Kofi was your main champion, and you not only made him look bad, but you made his last 6-7 months look ridiculous. And it sucks. I am going to say that race is involved, because tell me when there was a time when a white champion lost that fast. Diesel defeated Bob Backlund for the title at Madison Square Garden, and it was pretty fast. But it's Bob Backlund. They're not taking him nearly as seriously as any other champion that you could name and think of. They clearly don't do it at all when you talk about some of the last few champions, even champions that weren't used well, who were all white. They still never got squashed like that and treated like that. Anyways, guys, let me know in the comments below, what do you think? Is WWE racist with how they handled Kofi Kingston losing the WWE title to Brock Lesnar in 8 seconds? Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later!
Sticking to my decision just to rupture y'all ignition. I'm painting my perfect vision, intuition is real. If you humble, you will never stumble. Listen, it's clear, but I'ma give it to him. Let the God seize the day.